We're here at Eurofoods. They specialize in Eastern European cuisine, and they have an Eastern European market. Let's go check it out.
I'm a Charleston native. I love to go on cruises, travel to amazing places, and enjoy local cuisine. This is Local Charleston. In 2006, Maka from Georgia and Alexander from the Ukraine formed what is now known as Eurofoods. I was very excited to dine here. I've had a number of cuisines, Spanish, French, Italian, German, but I have never had cuisine from Eastern Europe. This little cafe really oozes Eastern European style, and it was interesting to hear the different dialects being spoken by the customers inside. It really felt like you were in an Eastern European cafe. In addition to the regular menu, they have a special of the day, plus this big board back here with a variety of different specials that they are offering. They are heavily involved with Charleston for Ukraine, a nonprofit that is currently sending tons of relief to the Ukraine. They send food, diapers, pet food, personal items, and trauma kits to the people in need. And it's interesting, if you're ever watching your local news and they're doing a story about Ukrainian relief, more than likely they're standing in front of Eurofoods while they're talking about it. If you're like me and a complete novice at Eastern European food, don't be afraid to talk to them about it. They will give you lots of great recommendations. And be sure to step outside your comfort zone and try one of these interesting Eastern European sodas or beers. It's like stepping into a whole different world. This is a Georgian drink called natatari. It's kind of like a Sprite, but extra lemony. It was pretty good and refreshing. While they're getting our lunch together, why don't we explore the market that it's attached to? Towards the back, we find the freezer section. Here we see a selection of frozen fish, and there's some frozen bread here, as well as a selection of pierogies. It was fun to see their selection, but I couldn't tell you really what half this stuff is. But suffice it to say, if you're a person from Eastern Europe or you enjoy your cuisine, this is definitely going to be your one-stop shop. I was very impressed with their selection of imported meats. They have quite a bit to choose from, as well as some delicious-looking pastries. What really jumped out at me is they had authentic mortadello, which I've heard is really hard to come by in grocery stores and delis. And what goes better with imported meat than, of course, imported cheese? They got all the fine makings of a great charcuterie board here. If you're enjoying this video, please like, subscribe, and follow. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps to grow the channel. And we do one of these once a week. On this end cap, we find quite a large selection of canned fish. And check this row out. This is literally all spices. Just nothing but spices, and it takes up an entire aisle. Here we find an assortment of various jarred vegetables. A nice assortment of pastas and sauces to go with it. Do you have a sweet tooth? Here's an aisle with nothing but jams, jellies, and candies. Right across, we find a great selection of tea and more candies, including Turkish Delight. Even if you don't know what half these items are, it's still fun to stroll the aisles and see what they have available. I mean, it's interesting to really embrace this other culture. This case had various salads as well as olives. So while they're preparing your meal, be sure to take a nice stroll through this section and see what interesting items they have to offer. Maybe pick up a bottle of wine or try one of their very unique beers. But now our food has arrived. I went with their potato and cheese pierogies. They also have meat pierogies, cabbage pierogies, and deep fried pierogies if you so desire. These are, without a doubt, some of the best pierogies I've ever had. They are cooked perfectly. The dumpling had the right texture to it, just the right level of thickness. They had plenty of stuffing inside, and the onions on top gave it a nice caramely sweet taste that paired well with the sour cream. And I feel like this was a very generous portion. This is one of my favorite things we got. I would highly recommend them. Now I might be mispronouncing this, but I believe it's pronounced cebrekki. It's basically a turnover that is stuffed with meat and onions. It was really interesting. The crust on this was super flaky. It was quite tasty. This is a zapacanca. It's an open-faced sandwich with 3 kinds of meats, kielbasa, red onions, and their special house sauce, of course with cheese. It was delicious. The sauce is a yogurt-based sauce, so it's spicy and sweet. The bread was crunchy and crisp but soft inside, and the cheese just melted around all that meat. It almost gave it a pizza-like quality. This is the acharuli khachapuri. This is my wife and I's standout all-time favorite item we got on the menu. You have to try this. It's a simple dish, but how can you go wrong with these ingredients? It's a bread bowl with melted cheese, then you spear that runny egg that's in there, and then you have a big pat of butter. You swirl it round and round and mix all those ingredients together, and then you have the bread that you can top with this stuff. Oh my God, it was delicious. This dish beats out any queso or fondue dish I've ever had. This is the best cheese dish you can get. And I know I say this term all the time, but man, it was so ooey gooey. So if you want to try some unique food served by some of the friendliest people you will meet, be sure to go and make a stop at Eurofoods. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and follow. It doesn't cost you anything and it really helps to grow the channel, and we put out a video each week. And as always, thanks for watching.